Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Oregon. I'm your host, Mike Ducett, with this episode for March of 2026. In today's episode, we have two very exciting guests. In our first segment, we'll be sitting down with Heather Young from the Oregon Area Historical Society, and we'll be talking about some upcoming events this summer that are going to be super exciting. And in the second segment, we'll be sitting down with longtime art educator Mike Derrick for the Oregon School District, who will not only reflect on his time as a teacher as he nears his retirement at the end of the school year, but also a passion project of his as he's creating a new documentary soon to be released to the public. So first, Heather, it's always great to have a second or third time guest come back to the show. I love sitting down with you and talking about all the wonderful things that the Oregon Area Historical Society has going on for it. So this is an exciting time. The year 2026 is actually a pretty historic year as America is turning 250 years old. So today you're here to talk about something happening this summer that's plans to celebrate that. So what do we have planned here at the Oregon Area Historical Society?
Thanks for having me back. So rewind a little bit. So back in October, my museum coordinator and I went to a special viewing for historical societies around the state of Wisconsin, up in Baraboo, in the historic Al Ringling Theater, to view an hour-long mashup of Ken Burns' documentary, The American Revolution, that he just released in November. And it was it was just so cool to be in the old theater, to learn all that history, to get to see that stuff first before it was released to the general public. And while we were there, PBS Wisconsin and the Wisconsin Historical Society said that they had grants open for anybody, education, museum, whatever, to try to get in order to do a community discussion on the America 250. So I sat down with a collaborative minds together with the library. We filled out the grant, and we were one of 15 people in the state of Wisconsin to win a $500 grant to do a community discussion. So now we are in the process of working on doing this community talk back, and the date is June 6th, Saturday, June 6th, from 12:30 to 2:30 at the library, where we'll be viewing a 30-minute segment of the Ken Burns documentary, and we'll have a talk about the topics that are in there, thoughts and everything. How does this relate to what's going on in the country today? And have fun activities and snacks. And I'm hoping to have a guest speaker come.
Okay.
And so,
So this sounds like a really exciting opportunity. So not necessarily what you normally do as like an exhibit, but more of an active participation kind of discussion group. So if someone is really interested in this, like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for volunteers? Are you looking for people to be community members in the audience? Are there ways for people who are like, hey, I love to get this off the ground? Do you need more planning? Like, how can people get involved? Or if they're interested in taking part in the event, what can they do?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for active community participation. As we get more information, it'll be up on our website, our Facebook page, and the library's website. People can always contact me or Kara Ripley at the library. You can always come and see me on Tuesdays at the museum, because I'm there every Tuesday. And like I said, as we get more information, more detailed day of event things, so we'll post it on our website. We're always looking for volunteers, whether it be for this or anything that we do. We've got a full loaded schedule of events this summer.
Now, was your experience up at the Al Ringling Theater in Baraboo kind of like a similar format as what you're going to experience? Can you talk about what that experience was like for you as an individual who has already participated in one of these community-based discussions, and kind of talk about what that was like so people can understand what to expect?
Yeah, so the American Revolution documentary was like a 15-hour long documentary.
I remember watching long segments of it. Didn't quite make it all the way through. But,
you should finish it. It's
I will
really
at some point.
But so they showed us an hour-long segment, so like little snippets of each individual segment. We watched the whole thing. It was fascinating to watch. It really made me want to watch more of the show. And then afterwards, we had a panel. There were a panel of experts from all over the state of Wisconsin, university professors, people from the State Historical Society, people from PBS Wisconsin who are like history buffs, who we talked to, we asked questions. They discussed what they saw, what they noticed about what was lacking during the American Revolution compared to what we have today, the lack of Native American presence during it, or the lack of African American presence and stuff like that. So it was fascinating, just the listening to the panel and getting the different takes, because I saw it one way, but these people, everybody else sees it a different way.
That'd be exciting. Sounds like a cool opportunity to be part of something even historic, and a historic year in a community that definitely does value history, as we've seen time and time again. So again, that was going to be Saturday, June 6th, right, at the Oregon Public Library. So make sure we check out the Oregon Historical Society Facebook page, website to understand when those dates and how that's going to roll. Okay. Now, I know that the Historical Society does a lot more than just plan for this one event. So what other activities do you have on your calendar that you'd like to share with us now?
Yeah, so on June 6th, we'll also be open. That'll be our first day of summer hours. So we'll be open every Saturday. So June 6th will be our first Saturday that will be open. I think it'll be first Saturday. And then on July 4th, I'll actually have a table here at the high school, because they're planning the American Revolution Museum. So the Historical Society will be here showcasing some stuff for that. Mainly, we're going to talk about Nathaniel Ames, who is our American Revolutionary veteran here. He may not have been born here, but we take him. I can't think of the word.
Adopt him.
We'll adopt him. Yeah, he's ours. He lived here for several years, died here. He's buried here. He's ours. So we'll talk about Nathaniel Ames, and we'll also talk about like the history of Wisconsin in that time and the beginnings of Oregon. Fast forward to more of July, we'll be doing community things with the village and the chamber and the library as a collaborative of celebrating the America 250. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but we've got that. Late June, we'll have our ice cream social.
Ice cream social at Triangle
Everybody
Park,
loves the ice cream social.
In conjunction with the Oregon Community Band.
The community band,
yep. For sure. Okay.
And this is like, gosh, I don't know. We've been doing this since, with the community band, I think we've been doing this since the 80s.
Wow.
But the Historical Society has always had a summer picnic since like the old timers, like 1800s.
Wow,
so yeah.
That's exciting.
And then, so we had the cemetery tour last year. That was our pop-up event last year.
We talked about that last year, yep.
This year, I'm hoping, just because I want to see accordions some more and do polka, I'm hoping that we're going to have a Oktoberfest event at the museum. So some polka and some root beer floats. So yeah. And then our end of the year bash is our Christmas at the museum on December, I can't remember the day, I think it's December 13th.
Sure.
From 10 to 3 at the Historical Society, and it's going to be a colonial Christmas. Colonial Christmas.
Yeah. Celebrate the 250th birthday of America again. So, as always, folks, you're there every Tuesday afternoon. And then you said on June 6th, the summer hours begin, which will be Saturdays?
Saturdays, every Saturday from 9 to noon.
9 to noon. So, Heather, you do so much for this community, and you help us keep us rooted in the past, but also really alive in the present. And so that's always a really wonderful asset and individual to have. So that's all we have now for this. Make sure you check out that Oregon Area Historical Society's Facebook page or webpage. Make sure you're up in the know, like and follow those folks. And then we'll see you back after our break. Thank you.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Thanks for watching OCA.
Thanks for watching OCA.
Thanks for watching OCA.
Thanks for watching OCA.
Hello and welcome back from the break. We're glad to have you here. In our second segment, we're really excited to have our guest, Mike Derrick, a longtime OHS art educator and a man of many talents. And we've been wanting to have him on the show for a while now, and it seemed like a better time than ever because Mike is quickly approaching his retirement from OHS as an educator. And so we figured we better get on that. So before we really get to questions about the teaching career and things like that, I'd like to kind of spend some time to talk about this passion project. That's what I'm calling it for you because it really does seem like a big, big passion project for you. You're creating a documentary called The Forgotten Packer, which focuses on Vernon J. Biever, right? And am I saying that correctly?
You are, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a longtime team photographer for the Green Bay Packers. So, Mike, where did this idea even generate? What was the genesis of this idea? How did it come to you, and what spurred this?
I guess it came back from all the way back to like when I was a kid and became a Packer fan. When I was a kid, the Packers were awful, and but you always knew about all those great photos, the Lombardi and all that stuff, and it made you into a Packer fan. You had this pride, even though most weeks your Packers lost, but you always still had this title town, and the Packers were awesome, and so. It kind of, as I went along and then went to college and then started teaching, I became a photography teacher. I always like to incorporate stories about Wisconsin photographers, H.H. Bennett from the Dells and Dickie Chappelle from Milwaukee. That was the first female to be killed in combat. And so when I started doing more research and finding out about Vernon Biever, it became, like you said, kind of a passion because I really like football and of course, a big Packer fan, and so started kind of diving into his life, and just he's such an interesting man.
And how did you kind of first become introduced to Vernon J. Biever and his work? Is that just from your own fandom as a young kid seeing these photographs, or did you have to do some research to even find this gentleman to begin with?
It kind of came about by luck. So when I first started teaching, I was teaching in Illinois, and I subscribed to Sports Illustrated back then. They used to make these like video yearbooks, and for your subscription, you could pick, your favorite team, and on there was actually a story about Vernon Biever.
Okay.
And that was the first I really kind of put the name with all those great pictures, and then after that, it was a lot of research and kind of diving in and getting started on it. So.
Yeah. And would you imagine, like, from your perspective, now that we're living in such a digital age, do you feel like photographs still have the same impact as they maybe did when you were a kid? Has that changed at all, or the quick access to it, or like I can imagine kind of waiting for those publications to come out. It's not like you can go to the website today and find all these photos. So how do you think that kind of the way photography was and is now also affects that medium?
That's a great question, but a lot of it has changed. You could look at it almost in a good way. Back then he was like one of the only photographers on the sideline photographing and doing that. And now, the Packers employ hundreds of photographers that, with social media and everything, are working there, and you can get pictures automatically. I mean, those cameras send it right to their social media group, and they're posting them before a game even starts sometimes. And so there's a lot bigger access. I guess I would question like how many people actually stop and look at the still photos as much as they would have back in the day, because that was the only way you really saw the pictures. Now there's a lot more video and things that go into there, so it's definitely changed and evolved a lot. Just like a lot. I mean, I look back at how much it's changed in my teaching career. It's just nuts.
Yeah, exactly. So. Now, I understand this documentary has been aided and helped with our own OCA Media's Frank Caruso, right? And that's a really creative partnership. So how did you and Frank kind of find each other, and what's it been like working with Frank on this project for so long? Because this has been ongoing, right? This is not something
just
new.
About a year now. It's been great. Frank is a very fun and interesting person. I've really enjoyed working with him. Actually, I kind of started, he had come with OCA Media, and he was doing a little story about me. And so when he came into my classroom, it was actually the time I was doing my lesson on Vernon Biever.
Okay.
And he was, after we got done and we were talking, he's like, has anybody ever told that guy's story?
Sure.
And I was like, boy, not that I know of. I've done a lot of research. and I've never seen like a show on him or anything. I mean, I've seen some TV clips and things, but he was like, "Well, are you gonna do one?" And at that time, I was kind of like, "Well, maybe someday when I retire, because you know,
Right.
he looks at me and says, "Well, why wait?" And I was kind of like, "Oh, I kind of have a day job, you know. It's not like something I can just kind of drop and go do that." And then, you know, when he said, you know, "Why wait?" You know, my head started reeling. It kind of like, it was a kind of deep and profound question.
Yeah.
And as you know, going through some of the stuff that you've gone through, and me the same with my family, it was kind of like, why am I waiting? You know, life's kind of short, and why not do that? So I said, you know what, let's do it. And so I started reaching out to some different people. I you know, made some contacts, and then it just snowballed. You know, like it's been awesome. We've been meeting with his two sons. We've got to talk to like some of the great Packers. Probably the one fun one was at the draft. We sat and talked with Jerry Kramer.
Oh, wow.
Who's now 90, and but he still talk about loving to tell stories. That guy can tell stories.
I bet.
And then last fall we went and talked with Brett Favre. We met him in Madison, and you know, he was kind of one of my favorites. He's about the same age as me, and so it's been just a fun adventure. I've just enjoyed it so much. You know, and Frank being more of the film part. You know, he has a little different perspective on it, but I think what's made us get along so well is that we kind of have the same vision for what we wanted to tell, and we just wanted to honor Vernon Biever. I mean, I've never talked about someone with other people where the other people will start crying because of what an awesome person he was. Just, the stories that people tell and his kindness and just what a wonderful person he was, is you really kind of feel this pressure all of a sudden, like, man, I want this to turn out really good. So he's just his whole life story, you know, going off to war. When he left, he was going to St. Norbert's and then went to college. And then World War II started. And just on a whim, they asked if he had any special talents, said he knows how to take pictures, and ended up being one of the first military official photographers.
Nice.
And was with a pretty big group, you know, that Battle of the Bulge, all kinds of different things. And he actually got a Bronze Star for his photography. And I don't know if anyone else has done that. I mean, I've heard of some, you know, Margaret Bork White, who was a really famous photographer during World War II and stuff. I mean, obviously she was a civilian, so she probably couldn't get that award, but just amazing. And so his whole life is just
it sounds like
fun
quite
one
an
to tell.
incredible person, and really a great subject
Yeah.
for this documentary. And it sounds like this documentary has kind of opened up your world to meeting some people maybe you never thought possible. And
I never imagined,
probably never imagined sitting at the draft. And it was just coincided. Was at Green Bay this past year?
So, that was a cool thing.
Exciting,
and yeah, if we had hours, I could probably tell you some great,
I'm sure you could.
great stories
Right.
up there. It was a lot of fun.
So now, as I look at this, like we've talked about, this really melds two of your really big talents, right? So like I'm saying here, you're not a stranger to football, nor are you a stranger to photography. So, you know, how has that mirroring in your life, you think, helped inspire you to also get this story told?
I think it's just because, like you had mentioned, you know, it kind of becomes a passion. And as I was kind of telling you before, the football, it's not that I was a great player, but it played a huge part of my life. And just to kind of get that same feel, and I kind of feel that kind of kinship to the whole story. But like I said, you know, I started playing football because I wanted to have a connection with my dad, who was a good football player that, you know, growing up in a household that was fairly disciplined, and, you know, things were a little different back then as far as how parents related to their kids. That was my way to connect. And as it kind of went along, then football ended up playing a huge part of my life all the way through, where, you know, by the time I got to be a senior, I grew, because when I was a freshman, I was 5'2", 120 pounds, a little small guy that probably shouldn't have been out there. And as I grew, ended up getting some awards, and then got recruited. And to be honest, I was not thinking of college whatsoever. I didn't really like school. That's what one of my things as a teacher was. I wanted to make sure that I made people feel comfortable and a safe place. And so I didn't really like school, but then all of a sudden I got some letters from little colleges to get recruited, and And I thought, what the heck,
And where'd you end up playing in college?
Well, I was on the team. I wouldn't say I played.
Okay, but where?
I went to Whitewater.
Whitewater, sure,
And
yeah.
that's another kind of fun thing. The reason I picked Whitewater was because John Belushi had gone there.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't
I
really...
did know of your affinity for John Belushi.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But, I went there and I was out for 2 years and I actually kind of started falling more in love with school.
Yeah.
And then art, of course, that's what I went to go. That's what my major was going to be anyways. And then I kind of got into like coaching. I thought maybe I'd like to do coaching. Mm-hmm. I like that part, teaching someone how to do something. And so that's what led me to start the education program. And so, I became a teacher because I thought, well, that let me coach a little. And it just snowballed all the way in.
And in this project, you're really combining all those loves because you are still educating folks on the incredible human being that Vernon was. So what's the plan? Like, when can we expect to see a viewing of this documentary? Will it be made available to the public? Are you going to stream it? Are we going to rent the PAC and have the community come see it? Like, that
would be cool.
What are your hopes and dreams? How we see this playing out?
Right now, I'm learning so much more about what goes into it. I have that, the story and that kind of planned. But Frank is kind of the mastermind putting it all, editing, putting it all together so that it has some cohesiveness to it.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot of the interviews. We're working on a lot of the material research. So we're writing up that, and then hopefully within another week or two, probably during spring break, we'll start sitting down and doing some of the editing.
Yeah.
We've done some of it. Frank's kind of put together some almost like little previews. Mm-hmm. So if you go to the website, The Forgotten Packer, Vernon J. Biever, there are some snippets, some trailers, so to say, that have kind of different things. So I know there's 2 on there for sure that talks about, one was from when we were at the draft. We got to talk to Jerry Kramer. He told a story about how he was, in some of those photographs. And then we put one together for the Super Bowl because his son, Vernon's son, who helped him photograph at some of the early stuff when he was only 15 years old, ended up going to the first 2 Super Bowls with him. He took the iconic picture of the Ice Bowl. And then what happened is he ended up going to every single Super Bowl. So this year he shot number 60.
Wow.
And so he's the only person, and of course that'll never be duplicated. No one will ever be able to do that. And I doubt if anyone will even be able to get close to 60 years.
It's a living link to history right there, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there any talk of I know Wisconsin has a film festival for, local Wisconsin filmmakers. Any talk of maybe entering it into any contests or trying to get a wider audience? Or
we're hoping to. I mean, again, Frank has kind of the ins on those.
Sure, he does. Yeah.
I'm just learning as I go and trying to help him the best I can with the story part. But I have talked about trying to enter some film festivals and doing different things like that. I don't really, personally, I don't know much about the film festival arena, but I'm looking forward to it. I really think it's going to be an awesome film. We're hoping to have it kind of wrapped up maybe by the summer.
Okay.
So.
Well, that'd be really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can add, father, teacher, photographer, filmmaker to your list of things and accomplishments, which is not a lot of people can say, which I think is really exciting. So, Mike, as we wrap up together, I just want to kind of touch upon your career here at OHS. You've been here for longer than 30 years. Not sure on the full time. How was it? How many years?
It'll be 31 and then 35 years as a teacher total.
35 years as a teacher total. So that's a really well-reserved retirement after a long time, as they say here, teaching, and most of those years have been at OHS. So as you reflect on your retirement here, what has kind of kept you here at Oregon? What have you learned about yourself as a teacher, as a coach, a father over all these years, now that you have this ability to kind of say, this part of life is done and I'm ready to move on to the next part? What are you thinking about?
Well, it's been awesome. I mean, I've said it many times, the Oregon community has been so supportive, and I don't mean just out there, I mean here in school too. I mean, I've gotten to work with some awesome people, all very supportive, been able to lean on each other, ask questions, talk. I mean, you and I have talked about a lot of different things, but it's just been a very supportive place. And I would say the thing that I probably learned the most is appreciation, not only for all the people, but just life in general. I mean, since I've been here, and I get kind of choked up, but
Sure. Yeah.
the students have been awesome. When I had my transplant, students actually went and volunteered, to get tested to see if they could donate. When I was in the hospital for 40 days with COVID, I had students that worked at the UW that would knock on the window because my own family couldn't even be there. But just an appreciation for life. I look at things so much differently. I don't know if I would change a whole lot on how I did my career, but I definitely have an appreciation for people, gratitude, just want to be a better person and hopefully be a better father. But I think it's made me a better teacher.
For sure.
And that, but I just consider myself blessed and lucky. So I try not to take anything for granted. I feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Sure.
And that it's been a
I
gift.
get that 100%.
Yep.
Sure.
It's been a gift, and so whatever I have, I'm thankful and grateful for. And knock on wood, hopefully I have quite a few years and I get to enjoy some retirement. And get to spend time with my wife and watching my kids grow. Both my kids went through here. Noah's still in school, and Samantha graduated from here. She actually met her fiance in my photography class. I think they had obviously probably known each other somewhere around, but they had the class together, and they're getting married this summer. So
That's exciting.
yeah, life is changing fast. A little bit of anxiety. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I grow up yet, but
Love that. Yep.
School's been my life forever.
Yeah.
I mean, from when I started, when I was 4 years old to
Yeah.
to now. I mean, always gotta get ready for that first day of school, and so it'll be a huge change. So looking forward to the challenge in a way. But
Well, you're a man who has deep ties to this community, and those ties won't be forgotten for sure. And
No.
You've made a tremendous impact on the lives of the staff here, not to mention the numerous students that you've come across throughout the years.
Thank you.
And you're a lifelong learner. This is evidence of that, to yet tackle something new as you kind of get into this phase of your career. And we're going to miss you here at OHS. I know that for sure.
Well, thank you.
We have more time to talk about that back in June at the staff picnic. But,
There we go.
Mike, you're an incredible human being, and so we're so excited to see this documentary. Make sure you kind of check that out online and you kind of Google that Forgotten Packer, Vernon J. Biever, and you'll get to the website and check out the snippets. And we're excited to see this come to fruition. And
Me too.
I'll be there watching you and cheering you on. So,
Well, thank you.
well, that's all the time we have for Let's Talk Oregon this month. We'll see you next month, and have a great and hopefully warm spring as it arrives. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.